Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. The name is Harry Cruz and today we're going to be continuing through Fighting Fantasy, Book 4, The City of Thieves. So without further ado, of course, I will be continuing this. I'll be reading it through with you, alongside you. So let's resume. So, currently at the moment, this is where we are at the moment. 24 stamina, max stamina can be 11 skill, 11 luck. 42 gold pieces, backpack, chalk, potion of mind control, coloured candle, old knuckle bones, eye patch, 6 black pearls, iron spike, climbing rope, silver flute, clove of garlic, lantern, silver arrow, 2 gems, and a ring of invisibility. A majestic broadsword, leather armour, and a shield as well. Potion of fortune, which will give us +1 to our initial luck, and 8 provisions. So without further ado guys, let's continue the game playthrough. So, you soon arrive at a junction. Do you wish to turn north into Tower Street, or east into Stable Street? Now I believe, remember our mission here, we have to find items that will aid us in the second part of the City of Thieves. This is actually quite a challenge. The wizard under the bridge, if you recall, gave us a list of items. One of which, for instance, is a silver arrow. And we have to get a tattoo of some kind as well. So we've got items to try and find throughout this maze in the city. But I reckon we should go down to Stable Street, because going north implies you're going to be moving on to the next stage. So I reckon Stable Street is the best that we can do. As you walk warily down the narrow cobbled street, you are suddenly confronted by a little old man who dashes out of one of the little houses. He pulls out a dirty bottle in a canvas bag. As he speaks, you can't help staring at the large wart on his nose, with its tuft of hair. He smiles and asks if you would like to pay 2 gold pieces for a drink of his wonderful healing potion. If you wish to pay for a drink, turn to 98. If you would rather refuse and keep going east, turn to 363. Well, regardless if he's telling the truth or not, which he might or might not be, we've actually got full health. We don't actually need a stamina potion at all. So I think we should refuse to continue to keep going. In the middle of the street, you see a large manhole cover. You could lift the manhole cover to see where it leads to, or you could keep walking along Stable Street. Now I recall one of the items I think may be sewer related, and because we've actually got a lantern as well in our character sheet, I can't see any other opportunity that a lantern might come in useful. So I think this must be an important destination, so I reckon we should lift up the manhole cover and perhaps go down it. There is an iron ladder secured to the rim of a hole, descending into a tunnel below. It is dark and a very unpleasant smell rises up from below. If you wish to climb down the ladder, turn to 321, or if you insist to continue east, turn to 205. But like I said, I reckon we should go down and see what happens. At the bottom of the ladder, you realise, much to your disgust, that you are indeed, like I said, standing in a sewer. There are torches along the tunnel wall, giving a very dim light, and droplets of water make eerie sounds as they fall into sewage water. We can either continue north along this tunnel, or we can go south instead. North or south, guys? What do you reckon? My hunch is to go south first. You can hear scratching sounds in the tunnel ahead, a bit like this. Then you see a long shadow appear on the curved brick wall. In the dim light, you can just make out the large shape of something black and shiny moving towards you. The scratching becomes louder, and you also hear clicking sounds. The monster is only a couple of meters ahead of you when you recognise it as a giant centipede. Do you possess an insect bracelet? We do not. You will have to swing your sword with all your might to pierce the armour-like shell of this monster. You must indeed fight. For those of you new that do not know the rules of the fighting in this, essentially 10 skill is actually very high for an enemy, but the stamina is actually quite weak, of 5, in comparison to our 24, which is actually quite laughable. Basically, depending on how high your skill is, that is added to your roll which you make with 2 sets of dice. So, we rolled, as you can see, we rolled 8, they rolled 2, and it added to your skill score. So we got 19 overall, they got 12, we hit the centipede, 2 stamina points. So they hit us back because we rolled lower, as you can see, and now we've got damaged by 2. So that's how the game basically works in the fighting. One more hit will do it. Hits us as well again. Counters our move there. And we are indeed triumphant. Couple of blows, but we're victorious. Having defeated the giant centipede, you manage to squeeze yourself between its corpse and the roof of the tunnel. You walk further down into the tunnel and see that it ends at an iron grill through which the sewage runs. If you wish to try and remove this grill, turn to 377, or we can return back to the entrance. Let's try and remove it, why not? The iron grill is securely bolted to the brick wall, and you are unable to remove it. However, above the grill you notice a dark recess where some bricks have been removed from the wall. It is too dark to see deep inside this. If you wish to put your hand into the dark hole, turn to 92, or would you rather walk back to the entrance? Let's put it through and see what happens. You are slowly feeling your way along the bricks when your hand comes into contact with a smooth, flat object. You pull it out and see that you are holding a mirror. What a nice find. You pack it away and walk back to the entrance hole. Back at the entrance hole, you may either climb back up the ladder to the street in order to continue east, or if you have not done so already, you may walk north. I reckon I should walk north. Interesting creatures there. Ahead of you, you hear the sound of squealing and frantic splashing. Long shadows are cast by moving objects coming towards you. Then you see the sleek, glistening shapes of 3 giant rats, only a few meters away from you. You draw your sword hastily and prepare to take on the rats. Level combat, guys. So the first rat, 4 stamina but 4 skill, very weak. I think we'll dispatch these without much issue, at least the first one. Slightly more skilled, 5 skill for the second rat, but again, stamina is very weak. So I think we're going to easily dispatch these. The third rat is the physical war, slightly stronger in stamina, but I don't think we want to put it to us at all. And dispatched, we are indeed triumphant. Quickly though, I'm actually going to use one of our provisions to heal 4 stamina points, because now we're at max. We do defeat the rats indeed. Whilst you were fighting the giant rats, you thought you glimpsed someone or something sulking, or skulking even, in the shadows ahead. Let's continue north and see what happens. Ooh, it's some sort of like witch or something. With your sword still dripping from the blood of the rats, you walk forward along the tunnel. The ledge you are walking along is narrow and slippery, and you have to tread carefully so as not to fall into the slow-flowing sewage channel. The tunnel gradually bends round to the right as you follow it round. The silence is suddenly shattered by the sound of running feet and a wailing scream. Coming straight at you, wild-eyed, with flailing arms and a contorted face, uttering demonic sorcery, is a white-haired old woman dressed in rags. She is a hag. Do you possess a potion of mind control? You do indeed. Before the hag can complete the spell, you reach into your backpack containing the potion. You gulp it down the liquid and feel its effects immediately. The hag is still mouthing her vile sorcery, but you cannot hear her. Safe from her evil, you draw your sword and step forward. You grab hold of her matted hair and cut a clump from her head. She writhes and kicks and spits at you. At this close range you see fresh blood on her face. No doubt she could not wait to cook some of the rats she had killed. Despite your repulsion, you are excited about having gained one of the items necessary to defeat the Night Prince. You release the hag, return to the entrance hole and leave the sewer. Good job, guys. I knew the sewer was important. Okay, I reckon we should leave a bookmark perhaps once we go up the street. Yeah, let's go return to the street. Let's leave a bookmark here. After replacing the manhole cover, you set east again. Everything seems a little too quiet and you begin to feel nervous. Ahead, you see that stable street turns sharply left. We can either walk around the corner, or we can return to the junction and turn right into Tower Street. While I'm the sort of person who likes to explore, and I think given it's an item quest, we should still keep looking where possible. So let's walk around the corner. Standing in a line across the street are 3 tall men, each armed with a spiked club. You notice that they each have a red star tattooed on his forehead. They are vagabonds, and they are intending on robbing you. If you have a throwing knife, you may be able to cut one down before they reach you. Otherwise, you will have to fight the 3 of them using your sword. We don't have any throwing knives, so we're going to fight the 3 vagabonds, or bandits. So, slightly more skilled than the rats. Quite a few fights we're facing today, but alas, we've still defeated him in that first round there. I presume it's a heatless one. I suppose they could also be 1 or 2 might also be heatless as well. Let's presume the second one is okay, roll a 20 against that. Bit more skill this vagabond too. I've not really heard that word used before. It seems like bandits. I suppose it is a... Third and final. Possibly the leader. Didn't quite dodge my blow there, and then tied on the roll, but because of my skill difference, we are still triumphant. We did indeed defeat them. No wonder they wanted to rob you. They only have 1 gold piece between them all. Oh, poor those 3 people. Very poor. You find nothing else of interest in their pockets, so decide to set off north along Stable Street. The houses in this section of Stable Street consist of 2 rows of terraces. They are all made of sandstone apart from the middle of the terrace to your right, which is made of brick and is painted white. The door is made of oak and a serpent's head is carved into it. If you wish to enter the White House, turn to 131. Or keep walking north, which we can do by turning to 333. Let's enter this White House and see where it leads us, shall we? You walk into a room with sparse furnishings and a polished wooden floor. Silk curtains hang down over an archway on the far wall. As you start to walk across the wooden floor, a woman's voice calls out, "Who is it? What excuse would you like to prefer for entering her home?" We can either say that we're delivering flowers, which I don't think we actually have, or we can say that you have come to collect old rags. That'd probably be an insult. A tax collector might be a bit more legit. The silk curtains in the front of the archway are pulled aside and a brown leather bag flies to you and lands in front of you, making the dull jingling sound. If you wish to open the bag, turn to 16. If you wish to leave the house without opening the bag and to continue north along this street, Stable Street, turn to 333. Well, let's open it, shall we? 12 gold pieces, excellent. So we gain 1 luck point and we can leave the house before the owner discovers you are not who you say you are. Excellent. So that will help if we have to buy any items. You reach a junction in the street. Stable Street continues north, and to your left you see Tower Street leading west. You decide to keep going north. To your left you see a large wooden barn set back from the houses. 2 horses are tied to a post outside this barn, and smoke rises from a crooked chimney on top of its low, flat roof. If you wish to walk through the barn doors, turn to 25 even, or if you rather continue north, turn to 115. Well, let's walk through the barn doors and see. You soon realise that you are in a stable, where you see a large, bare-chested man wearing a grubby white apron, busy at work at an open fire. He takes a red-hot iron bar from the fire with his gloved hand and starts to hammer it into the shape of a horseshoe on his anvil. Sweat pours from his brow as he toils with the hammer. What would you like to do? Make a conversation with the blacksmith? Attack him with your sword, and I don't know why you'd want to do that, or leave him to his labours and continue north? Well, let's make a conversation with him, shall we? We're there. See if he can help us. The blacksmith removes his gloves and wipes his hands on his apron before asking you what you want. You answer by asking if he makes anything besides horseshoes. He replies that in his spare time he enjoys making chainmail coats. In fact, it has become quite a profitable sideline of his, especially in a place like Port Blacksand. He tells you in great detail of the skill and labour that goes into making one, and finally inquires if you are interested in buying one. They are not cheap. If you wish to pay 20 gold pieces for a chainmail coat, turn to 46, or if you wish to leave the stables without buying a coat, turn to 115. Well, 55 gold pieces? Why not? The blacksmith takes your money and walks over to some bales of hay in the corner. He lifts one up, and underneath you see a chainmail coat. He turns to you and says, "You have to hide everything in this place. You can't trust anybody." The coat fits perfectly, and its workmanship is indeed excellent. While wearing it, you gain 2 skill points. You leave the stables with your new armour and continue north. So now we've got a huge amount of skill, 13. Very strong. I reckon we should save there actually. Coming towards you as fast as he's able to, is a man in tattered rags with a ball and chain latched to his leg, or leeched, I can't quite see from the bookmark there. He's exhausted and collapses in your arms. His face is dirty and unshaven. With great difficulty he manages to speak, saying, "Please, cut me free. The town guards are not far behind me. I have been locked in a dungeon for 2 years, but managed to tunnel my way out. I was robbed and unable to pay taxes, so Lord has ordered me. I should be jailed for 5 years. Please help me." Farther up the street, you hear shouting voices and then armed men come into view. Do you want to cut through the man's chains with your sword? Or do you wish to hand him over to the guards? This is obviously presuming he's telling the truth, and I think, to be honest, most of these people in these sorts of places ain't going to be people not paying taxes. I generally think that this person could be like fibbing to try and escape. And is the story legit? Tunneling his way out? Jailed for 5 years for taxes. I think that, I know this is a harsh place, but 5 years for a taxation is actually quite a bit too harsh, I think. So I actually reckon we should hand him over to the guards. The guards are pleased that you have caught their wanted man. They tell you he is an escaped murderer. Gosh, see? I presume the guards are telling the truth, obviously. But gosh, see, look, I told you. The chief guard hands you 5 gold pieces saying, "Here's your reward. He won't be getting another one. He won't escape again." You watch for a short while as they lead the shouting murderer away before continuing north along Stable Street. Turn to 222. I think it was wise for us not to listen to this story here. On the right hand side, the houses are separated from the street by a wooden fence, with shrubs, trees, bushes and flowers behind it. There's a turnstile in the middle of the fence, by the side of which is a sign reading "Public Gardens, entry fee 1 gold piece." Let's go into the garden, shall we? Very interesting. Those are different animal shapes. Do not pick flowers. You place a coin in the slot and walk through the turnstile. Although the flowers and shrubs are not outstanding, you are nevertheless surprised that such a place exists in Port Blacksand. The gardens are not very large, extending back some 60 metres to where some houses back onto them. There are 2 paths to follow, one of which runs around the edge of the gardens and one that leads directly into the centre, where there is some topiary. Each shrub has been cut into the shape of an animal, and you decide to take a closer look. The path leads into a small paved area surrounded by the animal-shaped shrubs, in the middle there is a stone plinth, upon which sits a large earthen bowl containing lotus flowers. But there is a painted sign, however, which says, "Do not pick the flowers." The gardener is nowhere to be seen, and there is nobody else about. But I reckon we should risk picking the flowers, because, it might be an item that's important later. So let's risk it. As soon as you pluck one of the flowers, you hear the noise of rustling leaves. 3 of the animal-shaped hedges have uprooted themselves and are closing in on you. You don't have a ring of fire, so that's if not. You draw your sword to defend yourself against the advancing leaf beasts. They all attack at once, seemingly trying to crush and smother you. But because of our 13 skill, this should be fairly easy to dispatch. Even with a 12, then maxing out their dice rolls there, we still easily dispatch them with our now 13 crazy amount of skill advantage. We indeed complete. We do defeat them. The things that were once leaf beasts now merely resemble the products of an autumn animal raking. You run back to the turnstile, still clutching the lotus, and make your getaway into Stable Street. So we have got the lotus flower, that's great. The street ends at a junction with Mill Street, which runs east and west along the city wall. Looking east, you see a group of town guards marching towards you, and you decide to walk quickly west along Mill Street. Fair enough. On your left, you see a narrow lane ahead of you, and you see a young lad coming towards you, pushing a barrow laden with fruit. If you wish to walk down the lane, turn to 182, or if you wish to buy some fruit from the barrow boy, turn to 160. Well, there's no harm in some fruit, is there? The boy puts down his barrow and asks what you'd like to buy. He recommends his plums being particularly refreshing. So we can either pay for some plums or red apples. Why don't we take his advice? Buy some plums. Yeah. The plums are sweet and juicy and taste delicious. You gain 1 stamina point. Like we needed it, but still. Nothing like plums, eh? Walking towards you along the street are 2 huge guards wearing the black uniform of Lord Azur. As they get closer, you see that they are trolls, brutal mercenaries employed by Lord Azur as elite Imperial guards. To your right, there is a tree which reaches almost to the top of the city wall. Funny little fellows, aren't they? Like their sigil shields there. If you wish to risk walking past the trolls, or to climb the tree in order to get over the water into 11, well, I don't think we should risk it, because if guards are on the alert from just us taking a flower, I think we should try and risk going over the wall. The trolls see what you are doing and run towards the tree. You are forced to leave your shield behind as you quicken your pace. Damn, you lose a skill point. That's okay. After climbing quickly up the tree, you realise that you must jump a distance of 2 meters between the branch and the top of the wall. If you are wearing a chainmail coat, you have to take it off in order to jump safely across the wall. Below you, you see the 2 trolls running around the tree, waving their swords at you, but there is no alternative but to jump. It's a close shave, but you manage to grip the edge of the wall with your fingertips. You pull yourself up and climb onto the stone walkway along the top of the city wall. On either side of you are the stone towers rising above the battlements, spaced some 100 meters apart. There are doors in the towers, both of which are suddenly flung open. Small guards run out to capture you. There is a 20-meter drop on the other side of the wall. You need to act fast. We're now back to... we've lost our armour. And we've lost 1 skill point because we lost our shield as well. So we're now only at 10, but still 10 is respectable as a skill. We could risk 20 meters is a long way. We'd probably lose it. I reckon a climbing rope. You lower yourself to the ground. Above you, the guards are waving their fists at you from the battlements. You are now outside Port Blacksand. Do you have all necessary items required to set the Night Prince? The Unicorn Sun Tattoo, which we don't, I don't think. A silver arrow, lotus flower, hag's hair, and a black pearl. Unfortunately, we don't. Which means we have failed our mission for the first playthrough. But that's okay. Because I think, positively, we've got black pearls. We've got silver arrow, hag's hair. All we need is a tattoo. We've got the lotus flower as well. So we just need to find the tattoo. That's okay though. We'll do that next time. We've done very well getting all of those items. We'll have to go to an appropriate place before we get into the tower. But we just need to find that tattoo, that tattooist. But they'll be around somewhere. I'm sure it'll be in the second half of the city. Perhaps on Tower Street, where we didn't actually go to. That option where we could go into Tower Street North instead of going left to face those vagabonds. That might be where we need to go next. Yes. And then perhaps it will lead us to the Lotus Flower section after that. But we'll give it our best shot. And hopefully we'll be able to get into the tower next time and face this necromancer, this sorceress, once and for all. I hope you've been enjoying this part 4 playthrough. Feel free to subscribe. There'll be more videos in the future. I've said that I had a break for about a month or so on the YouTube channel, just to kind of enjoy the summer a little bit. But I'll be making more videos over the next, autumn, winter time. Probably one or 2 videos a week. I've got many projects up in the pipeline, so please subscribe and have a look. And there are other playlists and videos that I've got too. I've got some motivational speeches. I've got some self-help kind of videos on, self-confidence, kind of aimed at a more younger demographic for students, but for anyone really. So I hope, like I said, you're enjoying these game books as well. I've done the WARLOCK of FIRETOP Mountain and Citadel of Chaos and a few others as well. This is my 4th book playthrough. So there's a few of them if you want to check them out, and that'd be great. You take care of yourself, have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. Take care, bye.